Hello everyone, welcome to the Comic and Movie Show. My name is Deshaun and today I am here to make a top 5 video. Now, to be fair, one of the letters in the CGM stands for games, and I have really not been reviewing a lot of video games lately, as you can see. It's a lot harder to review video games than it is movies. Even though it's even getting harder for me to review movies than it is movies these days. But there are a couple video games that I have been looking forward to this year, that I am most likely going to buy and that you will see me review. And it might just be these 5 video games, or at least 4 of them. One of them we shall see, but most of them I will review. Now, this is gonna be my top 5 anticipated games of 2020. Starting off with number 5, Marvel's Avengers. Now, Marvel's Avengers has been a very bumpy road. First, the trailer released, and everyone hated the way the models of the Avengers looked. And they released a new trailer, and the models were different. Then they released some gameplay, and the gameplay looked kind of cool, but people were concerned. Then they said that they're gonna have microtransactions, and everyone was concerned about that. And then they said, this game has had many ups and downs. In fact, it was just delayed 2 days ago, so now it's not going to come out until November. But it's still coming out in 2020, so it still counts. As a Marvel fan, as you guys know, massive Marvel fan, massive MCU fan, I can only hope for the best with this game. I hope it turns out great. And I got a feeling it will turn out pretty fucking good. So this game made my list off of pure hope and desire, because I've for years now have often said I don't understand why Marvel isn't taking advantage of their catalog and making video games out of these characters. There's another avenue to make stories, and the video game world hasn't really been touched. While DC was putting out the Arkham games, and even the even they have DC Online and obviously Injustice, Marvel hadn't really been doing too much. Sure, they put out the Spider-Man game and they put out the Spider-Man game and the Ultimate Alliance 3 game, but those games are exclusives. Those games are exclusives to, to the Switch and until PS4. So it was a bit different. I'm talking about main game that's on all consoles kind of thing, and they haven't really had that. They hadn't had their Arkham, they hadn't had their Injustice game in a while. So this looks like it's gonna remedy that, and I hope it does. It looks like they're going for something big and revolutionary, and I hope it works out. Now, my number 4 game is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Now, Vampire the Masquerade, I never played the first Vampire the Masquerade, but because I didn't have a PC. Because the first Vampire the Masquerade came out back in the day when PC gamers was it wasn't even that big of a deal. Back when I would look at a PC game and just be like, that's freaking okay, whatever. I didn't care. I didn't really care. But I remember seeing a video of it on if you remember the site the channel G4, you gotta be as old as me to remember the channel G4. If you remember G4, the last year that G4, before it got shut down, they had a top 100 games of all times list. Vampire the Masquerade was on that list. I believe it was somewhere in the 70s or 60s. And when it popped up on the list, it intrigued me. This open world game open world RPG where your decisions, it's one of the first where your decisions are impactful to the story. It was intriguing to me, and I had never seen really anything like that at the time when I was a kid. And then I later would go on to watch YouTube videos of people playing the game. And so I didn't play the game myself, but I always wanted to, but I never had a PC or anything, so I just went, okay, I guess I can't play this game. Now, watch someone comment below, oh, they got it backwards compatible for such and such. Fuck, okay, thanks for letting me know that now. But anyways, this is 2. This is a part 2 to that, so I haven't quite, looking at it, I can't really tell if it's any connection or if it's a completely new story, but looking at it, it looks like they did exactly what Resident Evil, they're taking tips from Resident Evil and just updating and changing bits of the original game and you know, updating it and changing it a bit, and they kept a lot of the stuff. I'm intrigued. I always thought of how awesome it would be to have a open world vampire game, because I always imagined that it would be like, you know, an open world vampire game with those powers and whatnot, and then you add in the decision making aspect of it, and the lore, and the people you help out, and it's just a fascinating game. Hopefully this game ends up being what I thought Vampire was gonna be, and Vampire wasn't what I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be this, but it wasn't. It was a lot more linear, and nothing wrong with being linear, but it was super fucking linear. So it was, I mean, it was an RPG in a way, but even those little stuff wasn't really that big of a deal. So thank you. Whatever. Vampire. My number 3 anticipated game would have to be Last of Us 3. Last of Us 3, because there's been a 2. Last of Us 2. Last of Us 2 looks amazing, honestly. Like, I'm just looking down at it right now. It looks amazing. Last of Us, the first Last of Us was one of the greatest games of all time. With one of the greatest stories of all time, with some of the most emotional moments of all time. The game's a tearjerker. It's an amazing story. You follow Ellie, following Ellie and seeing her grow, and in this game they released multiple trailers by now to kind of hint to, like, you know, Ellie's grown up now. You know, she's a lesbian, which I don't remember that in the story, but I haven't played the story in such a fucking long time that there's so many emotional stuff. That's one of the most emotional intros I've ever seen, Last of Us. And the game is going to be phenomenal. I can already tell you, it's one of the greatest games of all time, but Last of Us 2 is building upon that. This is going to be a fantastic game. I have nothing but hope for it. I haven't looked at too many videos on it, which is why I can't really describe what Last of Us 2 is going to be about and how it's going to be. But from the trailer, someone's going to get done wrong and someone's going to want revenge. That's all I can give you, but I am looking very much forward to Last of Us. It's going to be fantastic. Now, number 2 is a game that should not surprise you if you've seen how much I love the first Resident Evil 2. It's Resident Evil 3. Resident Evil 3 looks great. It looks like Resident Evil 2, except different because, you know, you're playing as Jill Valentine and you're dealing with Nemesis, and it's got called Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. Though, honestly, I would have called it Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. I don't know why they just called it Resident Evil 3. Like, I mean, I guess they're trying to be subtle. They're like, if you know it, you do. If you don't, you don't. And Nemesis looks great and scary. He looks worse than that fucking, I always forget his name. Was it Mr. X? Mr. Nobody? I can't remember that big son of a bitch name in Resident Evil 2, but he looks even scarier than him. Because at least he had to walk up on you. Nemesis got a rocket launcher and a flamethrower, and he can grab you, and it's like, what in the fuck? How are you supposed to get away from this guy? Like, it's so scary, man. And I remember that game. I remember sitting and watching my cousin play the original Resident Evil 3 Nemesis and being terrified of when Nemesis is just gonna pop up. You just be, oh shit, run. Back in those days, when you would go into a different room, the entire screen would load and then pop back up. Like, it literally load, it'd go, bloop, loading, and then you come out on the other side. Every time you went to a different room, it'd have to stop, load, black screen, black screen, black screen, black screen. Okay, we're in the other room. Like, it would have to stop and load to go to the other room. So, like, you would literally just, I think you could avoid him by literally just going to the other room. If I remember. I don't think they're gonna let you do that in this one, though. I got a feeling they're not gonna let you get away with that one. But I love that system, by the way, because it kind of lights a fire under your ass, because you can't take your time. You can't dally. I mean, you can take your time at points, because even in Resident Evil 2, once you get into the sewer, you really don't have to rush, you know. He'll pop back up eventually, but you really don't have to rush at a certain point in the sewer. But for the first bit, you can't dally too much. Or if you are gonna dally, you better lose his ass before you start dallying. And they kind of force you to keep this clock in the back of your mind, so it kind of makes you nervous. And I feel like that's what they're gonna do in Nemesis 2. That's what they did with Nemesis in the first one, so I feel like that's what they're gonna do with Nemesis here. They have it's a realistic redesign of Jill. She's not as glamour, you know, it's not as glamorous because Jill in the fucking original just looks like a fucking model. She looks like a supermodel who just happens to be a cop. like that's what she looks like. So it's gonna be fun to see it. It's gonna be fun to do this again. I hope that they give you, because if I remember, the original the Resident Evil 3 kind of had a little bit more open, was semi-open world. Not complete open world, but it kind of had a semi-open world because you could actually walk the streets. And that kind of gave it a different vibe than 2, because you literally could walk the streets of New York. But they always do that thing in the old Resident Evil games where they would like have blockades and shit to make sure that it's not full open world, so you're not going all over the place, but it's semi-open world. Probably similar like Tomb Raider, like Rise of Tomb Raider, how there were like areas that were like semi-open world. So that's probably what they're gonna do with this game as well. I'm looking very much forward to it, and honestly, has potential to probably be my favorite game of the year. Wow. Other than Cyberpunk 20... Wow, what was it? Was it Cyberpunk? Is it Cyberpunk 2020? No, not Cyberpunk 2020. Cyberpunk 2077. My bad. By the way, that is not that far from now. Like, I'm gonna be alive in 2077, and if this shit doesn't look like this, I'm gonna be pissed. Cyberpunk 2077 is the best game coming out this year. I haven't played it yet. I haven't been obsessing over what material they drop, but from what I've seen, it's gonna be fantastic. Cyberpunk is gonna be the best game of this year. It's being made by CD Projekt Red, who made The Witcher 3, which, if you are watching this video, you know that a bunch of people are playing as we speak because of the Netflix series. This is gonna be amazing. Cyberpunk looks amazing. It looks great. The detail on it looks great. The design behind it looks great. The thought behind it looks great. It looks like it's going to have a mythos. It looks like it's going to have pace. And it's apparently based off of a book, but I haven't read the book, so I don't know. If you read the Cyberpunk book, put it below. I haven't read it, but I know I am looking forward to this game. You know, I've kind of been on an open world kick lately. I've kind of been on a exploring, like, either I like playing games that are just narrative driven, and it's just narrative, or open world. But I don't like playing anything in between. Like I'm having a hard time playing other games. Like I'm having a hard time playing sports games and stuff lately because I'm just like, I just want a narrative, you know. I'm just story. I either want great story or I want an open world game with great story in it. Hell, I'm so desperate for an open world game. I'm playing Andromeda again. So that should just tell you how desperate I am to be playing some good open world game. So this game is probably going to be one of the best open world games of all time. The way it looks, it's just getting me excited. I can't freaking wait for Cyberpunk. Can you imagine if this game came out at the same time as Red Dead 2? I remember telling Seth, I was like, we're gonna die if those two came out at the same time. You just disappear off the face of Earth. Thank you guys for joining the Comic Game Movie Show. What is your top 5 video games coming out this year? Those are mine. What are yours? Please comment below. Let me know. See you in the next one. Bye.